Welcome to Keys Communications. My name is Kabelo and I'm head of operations. I handle production, creative as well as strategy. Who is Keys Communications? We are Township, an alternative urban media, out-of-home media specialist. We've been around since 2009. The idea of Keys Communications comes from the fact that the townships of South Africa hold about 70% of the entire population, which basically makes it the largest and biggest consumer database in South Africa. But we also understand the social and economic dynamics of the township people and the township communities in such a way that we took that into consideration, and then we created this ethos and guidelines, or guiding principle rather, that is the ABCD. What is ABCD? ABCD is asset-based community development model, which essentially means that we're using existing structures, people, thinking, everything that comes from the township, and we turn that into almost like advertising havens and canvases, and we attract advertising clients to come and spend money in the township to speak to this incredible and large database. You're also empowering the township communities. The more spent is spent in a township, the more you're giving back, the more empowering your advertising promotion spend is. But at the same time, the more affinity and loyalty you receive from this incredible database. So Newtown is a culturally rich environment, but also it's a melting pot that almost denotes what South African townships are. The vibe and energy is so fluid and it's so beautiful, and it comes from when people are used to survival. So township people are survivors, and this is what you get from Newtown. You get that spirit of togetherness, humans working together to achieve a certain goal. So the culture and the tradition of Newtown really represent that of where we come from and where we operate in the South African townships, and this is why we're here. But the other facet is that Newtown is central to, if you want to go to Soweto, Rosebank, Sandton, Tembisa, it's central to that place, and we can also invite some of our clients not only to enjoy the culture, but it's also logistically easy to come to our offices as well and interact with and engage with us. When you walk into Keys Communications offices, everything, like there's a method in which how things flow and how we look. So behind me on this is what we call the Keys Communications features wall. So this, you can see it celebrates the legends and what the people that have inspired us, just beyond the music and the arts and the culture, because at the end of the day, arts is a very important aspect of our business. You've got like the legends like Brahu, and we worked on a specific type of art that is almost timeless and classic, the golds and the grays. But like TKZ, the guys that inspired us to believe and think that anything is possible. You can take the music that you've formulated locally and take it to a global stage. We've got Jabba, Brenda Fassie, Lebo Matosa, we've got Bob Mabena, we've got Miriam Makeba. So it's just the use of gold, which is basically timeless, and then the classic look and feel of the grays and the blacks, which comes through, and these are the things that inspired businesses like Keys Communications to be and to believe that we can take a small concept and we can take it on a global scale. We've literally operated for a year without a client, and it's quite difficult because there were so many stigmas around township advertising and brands bastardized within the township structures. Because you must understand, just using township structures like household walls, township business structures outside, or even like advertising on a mere rock that happens to be on a high impactful site, had a lot of stigmas. People were like, oh, our brands is going to be bastardized, we're not sure about colors, and that's when we introduced high definition airbrushing, which what we call today the Keys Communications ultra high definition airbrushing, which essentially means that if you can put any artwork in Constantia, Mhlanga, or wherever of the affluent suburbs, we can paint it on our walls and it will look just as good as printed. The only difference is that we are human printers. And the only thing we cannot paint is stuff that we cannot see, like air. Everything else do put us to the test, but obviously brands did not believe that. And we had to do quite a lot of sample walls and show them that it can be done. So we then introduced this thing that we call Township Immersions by Keys Communications, where we educate brands about not just the market, the people, the very environments in which their brands are going to be representing themselves and represented to this largest consumer database in the country. Where do we see ourselves in the next 10 years? Is to take ownership of this concept that we have so laboriously created and made sure that South Africa all over understands it. But we wish to continue to educate South African people, the globe, and everybody probably in the universe, to make them believe that the townships are the most important aspect of society, economy, and politics. And we do this by small concepts like that of Keys Communication. Where and how do we do that is to take township out of home and put it in mainstream thinking, not just alternative. Oh, I've got 100,000 rands I want to spend. Where can I do it? Let's take it to the township. The townships are the biggest consumer database in South Africa. Therefore, they deserve not only the respect, but the attention more so than any other traditional or known media that has historically been put forward. So that's the idea of where we see ourselves as Keys Communications. If there's any parting thought to any entrepreneur or somebody that looks at themselves and want to create something that we have created as Keys Communications, is that I think one of the greatest people, which is Nelson Mandela, has taught us, is that something looks impossible until it's done. And that's exactly what we have done as Keys Communications. We looked at ourselves, we believed, but most importantly, we did begin, and we started small, and we will continue to grow. Regardless of difficulty, regardless of what people think or the stigma that has been attached on you, it's only upon you to change that narrative and speak about yourself in the best way that you want the world to believe in you. So believe in yourself, believe in everything that you attest to, and go ahead and represent that belief, regardless of the environment in which you operate in. That's the only way we can break generational curses. That's the only way we can break any stigma that has been attached to you as a person coming from the townships. We are on LinkedIn, Keys Communications. We are on Facebook, Keys Communications. We are on Twitter, Keys_comms. We are at Instagram, Keys Communications, or you can find us on the internet, www.keyscommunications.co.za, and of course through the traditional telephone line, which is 011-027-0745.